The works of filmmaker Agnes Varda focus on the bonds between people that make life bearable. There's a deeply empathetic gaze to her narrative and documentary works, which ensures everything from Cléo from 5 to 7 to Faces Places is exceedingly engaging. This fascination gets to be especially prominent within her 1977 musical One Sings, the Other Doesn't. The entire crux of this feature is the importance of friendships and the necessity of surrogate families. It's arguable One Sings, the Other Doesn't is the greatest film in Varda's filmography, but it's certainly one that captures many key thematic motifs of her body of work. Collider video of the day. This motion picture begins, like so many classic movies, with a friendship. Pauline, Valerie Mares, accidentally reconnects with her former pal Suzanne, Therese Lyotard, who is now a mother of 2. Suzanne's life is in disarray because she's pregnant with a 3rd child she can't possibly take care of. She needs an abortion but doesn't have the cash for such an operation and, even more harrowing, the procedure is outlawed in France in this era. She may have a lover and 2 kids, but Suzanne feels alone. That's when Pauline comes into the picture, at first as a helpful ear to listen to Suzanne's woes before becoming a more active helper in her plight. The vitality of forming familial bonds beyond your blood relatives is established immediately in One Sings, the Other Doesn't, with Pauline choosing to help Suzanne out. She's able to get her friend the money, but at a great cost. Going this route puts Pauline at odds with her birth parents, but it ensures that Suzanne is in control of her future. Here, the viewer is seeing more understanding between people who are on totally different family trees, while Pauline's parents exhibit no understanding for their daughter trying to help out a friend. From here, Pauline opts to leave her parents, with Varda's screenplay refusing to depict this action as cold-blooded or worthy of punishment. Sometimes, even the folks who are supposed to love and support you the most need to get cut out of your life. Pauline's not the only one struggling to connect with her blood-related parents. After her husband commits suicide, Suzanne is forced to move back home with her folks. Her parents are not too happy to have a daughter who's a single mother, which just makes Suzanne feel more isolated in the world. Life is looking exceedingly grim for these 2 friends, who are now separated by miles of distance and have been outright rejected by the people who raised them. Luckily for this duo, this is where the plot of One Sings, the Other Doesn't begins to expand on its idea of finding comfort in a surrogate family in the arms of friends. An early example of this concept comes from Suzanne opening up a family planning clinic, where she interacts with countless other women who have gotten abortions. A procedure that she once had to talk about in hushed whispers in darkened alleyways is normalized here among ladies with shared experiences. A familial bond is forming between these women, who are finding solace in the support of other ladies as well as in the knowledge that they're not alone. Not only is Suzanne benefiting from surrogate family bonds with total strangers, but she's also capable of being there for other people as well. Like in any good relationship, there's a two-way emotional street here in these connections. Meanwhile, Pauline gets to develop a more traditional familial bond by having a baby with Darius, Ali Rafi. But much like her dynamic with her parents, this nuclear family unit does not last long. After spending time with Darius in his home country of Iran for months, Pauline grows restless. She wants more than to just be stuck at home. Pauline yearns to once again be a musician, her initial job before getting sidetracked with motherhood, and have bonds beyond the ones in her household. While pregnant with her second kid, Pauline separates from Darius, who opts to take their first child with him. Here too we see how fragile traditional familial relationships are, how something supposedly so sturdy can vanish in the blink of an eye. One sings, the other doesn't isn't opposed to monogamous romantic relationships nor two parents watching over children, as seen by Suzanne eventually settling down with a good man to raise a family. But it's not for everyone. You can also get the same kind of emotional connections, support, and love from other people that you aren't married to or related to by blood. Just as Varda documentaries like Faces Places or The Gleaners and I explore so many ways of existing, so too does One Sings, the other doesn't empathetically portray the varying methods people use to develop surrogate families. Pauline eventually finds such a family in her bandmates. Once she's back in her home country of France, Pauline returns to the world of music. Once she has her second child, she takes care of the kid on the road with her musical compatriots. The film's narrator remarks that Pauline's bandmates loved having the kid around and would take turns tending to its essential needs. Within this gaggle of drummers, guitarists, and other musicians, Pauline found a much more sturdy foundation to raise a child than if she'd stayed with Darius or if she reached out to her parents for assistance. Love can truly come from anywhere. All while they're growing older, having kids, and being molded by the hardships of life, Pauline and Suzanne stay in touch through postcards. They may not be able to see each other with ease anymore, but contact is still essential. Through this correspondence, the two ladies can still connect and support one another, a reflection of how surrogate familial bonds can stretch over thousands of miles of distance. You don't have to be in the same room as somebody to feel their presence, to know that they've got your back. Their friendship was forged in the fires of adversity, and it's ensured that they'll never lose touch with one another. The narrator of one sings, the other doesn't eventually takes note of how remarkable this friendship is, given that Pauline and Suzanne really couldn't be more different from one another. But as this movie has demonstrated time and time again, two people don't have to be carbon copies of one another to form a surrogate family. Lasting connections between people can happen with anyone, including total strangers that you meet on a job or in a meeting of women who've had abortions. The musical numbers of one sings, the other doesn't are bound to get lodged into one's head. However, what sticks around about this Agnes Varda masterpiece is its various manifestations of surrogate families and its emphasis on how important such bonds are for a fulfilling life.